Even though I am a Gen 1er through and through, the 4th generation of Pokemon will always hold a special place in my heart. While the games that came out before it were good, in my mind, I felt like those games were made for children. I think a lot of that doesn't come from the games themselves, but mostly because I grew up around that time. I went to high school and my entire gaming knowledge kind of dwindled a little bit. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum changed that for me. At that time in my life, I was just a freshman in college, and immediately I realized that I haven't gotten excited about a Pokemon game since Gen 1, and this story felt more epic. The gameplay mechanics became much more nuanced and strategic, and more importantly for me, the designs looked a little more mature. Some are cool and some are stoic, like Lucario. Others are genuinely terrifying, like both forms of Giratina, and some are even curvy and sexy, like Licky Licky. You might be surprised to know that despite completing Pokemon Sword and Shield and its DLC, I've not always been the most die-hard Pokemon fan. In fact, until the Completionist and Super Beard Brothers, there were quite a few Pokemon games I haven't touched. Fortunately though, I've been able to more recently go back and fall in love with those games and their region-specific Pokemon. Now, in honor of the recent release of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I thought it would be worth it to take a look at my top 10 favorite Pokemon from Gen 4. So grab your DS or your Switch and count your steps to the Poketch. Let's look at my top 10 favorite Pokemon from the Sinnoh region.
Number 10.
A cool addition in Diamond and Pearl was new evolutions for Pokemon that really needed them. This brought life to old favorites like Electivire for Electabuzz. And one of the best examples of this is Mamoswine. Much like current WWE World Champion Big E, I love seeing big beefy boys slapping meat. And no Pokemon is bigger and beefier than Mamoswine. A huge mammoth pig hybrid, Mamoswine hits like a truck with a massive attack stat that can tear through any opponent with ease. What really makes Mamo stand out competitively is its Ice Ground typing. This gives it perfect coverage and access to some of the best moves in the game, like Icicle Crash, Priority Ice Shard, and Earthquake. Also, just to compare this to its pre-evolution Piloswine looks dirty and gross, like a prehistoric version of that Ottoman from Beauty and the Beast, while Mamoswine is a big, comfy couch. Mamoswine is a brutal behemoth that is an improvement on its predecessor in every way.
Number 9.
Bronzong is a defensive Pokemon that has the awesome Steel Psychic typing. This means Bronzong has a total of 9 resistances and 1 immunity. This is made even trickier by Bronzong's Levitate ability, which makes it immune to ground type attacks. And it's all because of this that I absolutely hate fighting Bronzong. For some reason, Bronzong had an answer for my entire team. I couldn't take it out with my Gliscor because of Levitate. My Infernape was screwed because Bronzong could survive a fire type move and take out Infernape with Psychic. Bronzong has always been an absolute bastard to fight, whether it was being utilized as one of Elite Four members Lucian's aces, or just wandering around the wild area in Sword and Shield. So if I hate Bronzong so damn much, what is it doing on this list? Well, after battling it so much, it's earned my respect. Almost every other Pokemon, I can snipe their weakness and move on rather quickly. Not Bronzong. With Bronzong, I actually have to think and strategize, and for that, it's earned my respect. We're going to take a quick break for a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Square Enix, which offers a brand new Final Fantasy story with classic RPG style. You can tackle fields and dungeons to search for loot, receive quests from townfolk, and engage in PvP arena battles. I really do dig lots of the pixel art here in the illustrations. And in addition to the original characters like Rain and Sakura, you can summon iconic characters from various classic Final Fantasy games, which definitely hits some insane levels of nostalgia for those of you out there who are fans. There is a Final Fantasy X collaboration going on featuring Neovision units of both Yuna and Riku. The Final Fantasy X collaboration event begins November 25th and goes until December 15th. Players can also receive a free star player Tidus simply by logging into the game, and during the event, you can enjoy up to 10 free daily summons. Also, there's actually a new player campaign bonus that ends today, along with some discounted items and bundles. So, if you want a guaranteed NV summon, now is the time to dive into Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Click the link in the box down below to start enjoying this strategic RPG on the go. Thank you for watching today's episode. Once again, a big thank you to Final Fantasy Brave Exvius for sponsoring today's episode, and let's get back to it.
Number 8.
So far, we've run the spectrum on this list from a real bro like Mamoswine to a real bastard with Bronzong. However, some Pokemon go so ugly in terms of their design that they wind up capturing my heart. And for me, that Pokemon is Purugly. Even though I only have dogs, I have a special place in my heart for cats that are just assholes. They'll take your food, pick on smaller animals, and walk in your keyboard while you're writing a script oh, come on! Purugly is the perfect personification of that cat. It purposefully goes into other Pokemon's nests and just takes over. Also, this cat is fast. It's faster than Latios and Latias, which, guys, those are two very fast Pokemon. It's like if Garfield did NASCAR. Now, a lot of people pick on Purugly because they perceive it as an ugly cat, but I think they need to change their perspective here. Maybe take a break from hating and just enjoying something perchance. Because I did that, and I am now officially a cat person.
Number 7.
With a lot of the Pokemon introduced in the Sinnoh region, there were some interesting new type combinations like Water Steel and Poison Fighting. However, my favorite dual typing introduced was Poison Dark, since it only has one weakness, Ground. And the best example of that typing is Drapion. Drapion? Look, I'm getting these names wrong. I'm gonna go with Drapion, and you can tell me why I'm wrong. Drapion is a purely physical Pokemon with pretty good attack, defense, and speed stats. But Drapion isn't really on here for its competitive prowess. No, Drapion's on here because it looks freaking insane. This dude is called the Ogre Scorpion Pokemon, and I can easily see why. It's big, spiky, and that tail with the claw talon thing looks really cool. But my eyes are more drawn to its head, where there are two similar appendages coming from either side. This makes Drapion look less like a terrifying scorpion and more like a demonic accordion brought to life. This is especially true with Drapion's shiny form, which is bright red. This looks so crazy that I can't help but love it. Drapion may be intended to look like a brutal insect, but to me, it looks more like an instrument that'd be played by a satanic Weird Al, or Beelzebub, if you will.
Number 6.
Alright, we made it through the goofy choices on this list, I promise. Let's continue on with a Pokemon that is easily one of the coolest looking Pokemon in the franchise, Luxray. Luxray is a badass electric Pokemon that looks just like a full-grown lion combined with a moody anime protagonist, which is appropriate since its first form looks just like Kimba the White Lion. And I just love everything about Luxray's look. I mean that literally. Those dark colors combined with the spiky mane are already freaking rad. But my favorite part of Luxray is those eyes. Those red and yellow eyes seem to pierce through my very soul every time it appears on screen. And this is appropriate because of Luxray's Pokédex entry, which states that it can literally see through objects, which is why X-ray is in its name. This is awesome, even though it raises so many questions about the amount of radiation Luxray's trainers are exposed to. Do they have to wear lead clothes? That's weird. But Luxray was especially great on my journey in Pokemon Platinum. Since you could get its first form, Shinx, at the very beginning of the game, I spent just as much time with her as I did my starter. I named her Cleo, and she quickly became an important part of the team since she was the perfect counter to two of my starter's weaknesses, water and flying. Cleo was an awesome addition to the team and just a cool Pokemon to look at every time she came out. If you can get a Luxray on your team, I highly recommend it.
Number 5.
Not only is the 4th generation of Pokemon responsible for some of my favorite Pokemon designs, it also has the strongest champion in all of Pokemon, Cynthia. And the main strength of her final team is her signature Pokemon, Garchomp. Ever since it was introduced, Garchomp has been a defining competitive Pokemon with its fantastic stat spread and ground dragon typing. However, that's not why I love Garchomp. I love Garchomp because of Pokemon Unite. Now, Pokemon Unite is a MOBA that was released earlier this year, and I've been playing it non-stop. Although usually I am a Snorlax main, Garchomp quickly became my secondary choice. It's fast, strong, and the perfect choice whenever I want to bother opponents. If I want to hit someone as hard as possible, I can just Dragon Rush into Dragon Claw for a gnarly combo. Or if I want to hit a bunch of people all at once, I can use Earthquake. The main point to take away from all of this is that Garchomp is one of the most dominant Pokemon ever. It's terrifying when used by Cynthia, great to utilize competitively, and stands out in Pokemon Unite. No matter what Pokemon game you're playing, you can't go wrong with Garchomp.
Number 4.
As you all know, I'm a huge fan of the Donkey Kong Country franchise, so it only makes appropriate sense that some kind of ape makes it onto this list. Fortunately, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum feature one of the greatest simian-based Pokemon with Infernape. Infernape is a firefighting type that has a great design based off of Sun Wukong, or the Monkey King from the Journey to the West story. This influence can be seen with Infernape's fiery crown and all of the golden details on its fur. It really seems like the designers over at Game Freak really put in the effort to make a cool and thoughtful design. But Infernape doesn't just have a great background, it's also the best starter you can choose for your journey through the 4th generation, since there are only 6 other fire types in total in the Platinum Pokédex. And that additional fighting type makes Infernape have an advantage over half the gyms and an Elite 4 member. Plus, it has a perfect balance between special and physical attacks, so you can teach it whichever moves are more necessary at that moment. Infernape is a great example of a well-researched design combined with an effective competitive Pokemon, and that's more than enough to earn its spot on this list.
Number 3.
It's easy to understand why Infernape is one of the most popular starters in the series, but there is one other starter final evolution that gets overlooked in the Sinnoh region, Torterra. Torterra is another big bulky Pokemon that can take hits and dish them out without breaking a sweat, especially with stab moves like Wood Hammer and Earthquake. And although Torterra is great to use in-game, it stands out more for me from the movie Detective Pikachu, one of the best video game movies ever made so far, when the ground everyone was standing on turned out to be a herd of gigantic Torterra. I was blown away when I saw this in the movie theaters. It was like all those Pokédex entries that said that there was a small ecosystem on Torterra's back had become true for the entire freaking world. This made Torterra seem legendary and earned a place for me as one of my favorite starter Pokemon of all time.
Number 2.
One of my favorite cartoons of the 90s was Gargoyles. It was action-packed, dramatic, and absolutely enthralling. Not only that, but every character looked cool with their fangs, wings, and overall gothic feel. How do you make them even cooler? Oh, I got you. Easy. Give them claws and a scorpion tail. And enter Gliscor. Gliscor is another example of a new evolution given to an old Pokemon that needed it. Where Gligar was goofy and not that useful, Gliscor is intimidating and is an absolute powerhouse. Its yellow eyes are scary, and that fang-filled grin actually makes Gliscor seem like a monster from a horror film. This thing could easily fly down, take you to its nest, and devour you. But what makes Gliscor really great is all the different ways you can use it in battle. It can hit about half of all Pokemon for super effective damage with its ground and flying stab moves. It can also support your team with moves like Tailwind or Stealth Rocks. Or if you're feeling really sinister, you can stall your opponents by utilizing its hidden ability, Poison Heal, if you're playing the more modern games. Not only does this constantly make you recover HP, but you can completely avoid other status effects like burn or paralysis. Combine this with Toxic to poison your opponents, and you have a really dangerous combination. Gliscor is a great combination of a really creative design and competitive versatility. However, there is one more Pokemon that above all else is my absolute favorite Sinnoh Pokemon. However, first up, we have some honorable mentions. Now, I want to draw attention to some other Sinnoh Pokemon that are worth talking about. Hippowdon is a great bulky Pokemon that summons Sandstorm whenever it comes into the field. Plus, it has a really cool female variation that's all black. Seriously, if you want to make any Pokemon design cool, make them mostly black. Speaking of black, Weavile. Weavile is incredibly fast and it's a necessary evolution for Sneasel. Plus, it's one of Pokekels's favorite Pokemon, so I figured it was worth a shout out here. Finally, at number 3 on our list, we have Lopunny. Game Freak lived up to the freak part of its name by making a Pokemon a sexy bunny. Why they did this, I'll never know. Just kidding. I think we all know why they did this. But enough stalling. It's time to reveal my all-time favorite Sinnoh Pokemon.
Number 1.
This list featured a lot of bulky brutes, fast hard hitters, and a cat. So you'd think that my number 1 choice would also follow this pattern. Alas, that is not the case, because my favorite Pokemon from the Sinnoh region is Piplup. Piplup is the water starter, and I just think it is one of the cutest Pokemon ever created. That big head and that little beak are just the perfect size to be completely adorable. Plus, all the sprite art makes it look like it has this sweet little smile, and I just want to hug it. This is the only Pokemon on this list that isn't fully evolved, and honestly, I could have put Piplup's final evolution on this list and been done. Empoleon has one of the best typings in the game and has a ton of different uses, but it just doesn't stick with affect me as much as Piplup does. That's just one of the things that makes Pokemon so great as a franchise. There are all these characters that scratch a different itch for everyone. You'll like some Pokemon because of how strong they are. You'll like some of the others because of how they affected your in-game journey. And some you'll just say because they're freaking adorable. And that happens to be the case here with Piplup. Piplup may not be the strongest Pokemon out there, but it is easily my favorite Pokemon from the Sinnoh region. So that's my list. But what are your favorite Pokemon? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.